But this amount of movements, mobility that we have in the world is not healthy. So anything can affect lots of people. Anything. Other problem, which is the main source of this, let's say, epidemics, is the humans' occupation of wildlife. We have wildlife habitats that for many years, millions of years, diverse hundreds of thousands of animals and plants, they have a kind of cohabitation there. The evolution created kind of harmony in that environment. But suddenly, human being today is deciding to build a housing project, to build a city, to build a new factory, huge factory in the middle of the wild habitat. So what happens, suddenly the species that usually we are not that much in touch with them, we increase our connection with these species. So we occupy their lands, their habitats, so they cannot find food. So what happens? Either they die, which many of them are extincted, or they are adapted to urban environment. So they come and eat our garbage, our waste, which traditionally, this is not their food. Historically, it's not their food. So what happens? Their food chain is broken. So then what happens? Then new kind of disease and infections travel from wildlife to human beings because of these new kind of connections. Because all of these are new. Because all of these are happening very rapidly. And it is not under the control of human being, and it's not possible to control it. So, is the problem really virus? The answer is definitely not, because virus is not something bad at all. We cannot say viruses are dangerous, because we carry lots of viruses, any species in nature, connected with any of these viruses, infected or connected or comes together with any of these viruses. During the time, these two are adapted to each other. So what I want to say with adapting both of them to each other is, if a virus is very dangerous for that species, kills that species, so the virus cannot be spreaded. Accordingly, the virus is also gone. So we cannot say died because it's not living being, but the virus is gone. Speaking about viruses, we are speaking about two things: their deadliness, how much they can kill, and their spreading, let's say, speed or methods. Yeah. So, and these two must be in a balance. So if a virus is too much deadly, it cannot be spread too quick. So during the time, these two entities, so the virus and the animal or the plant, these are adapted to each other. So the body learns how to deal with this virus. Okay, so this is what's happening in nature. So accordingly, because the life is from very, very long time ago, we must not have any new viruses in the world and any new infection, because everybody is adapted to each other, so everything is solved because of the millions of years of evolution. But the problem is that viruses can jump from one animal or plant to another one. So yes, bats, for example, are one of the most resilient animals towards viruses. They are libraries of viruses. So they adapted to this these viruses that they're carrying them, and everything is in harmony. Nothing is a problem. But the problem happens when the bats' habitat are occupied, when the bats' food chain is broken, when their lifestyle is changed, when the niches that they have is occupied by the huge niche of human being. Then what happens? Then suddenly that virus is transferred to new animal. There are two things to do. Yeah, one is what is done today. Yeah, in a short term they want to save people, but in the long term, what it is needed to be done is change our lifestyle. We need to change our niches. We need to define our limits very well. We need to understand where to stop. Humans, for many, many years, they were traveling. It's not the first time that humans are traveling. When they are traveling, they can carry infections. But there were some solutions. If you look at the history of London, London is one of the cities that infected too much from 18th century with plague and other kinds of infections and epidemics. So in London, we have also other kind of, let's say, strategies to prevent the distribution of this viral infection, which one of them is to lock down people that they are infected in their houses. So asking them to stay at their houses instead of locking down all the city, but they were locking down people in their houses. They have strategies of entering and exiting cities with kind of passports, health passports that cities were publishing for their citizens, and the kind of testing the health of people that they want to travel. So we have this kind of solutions in the history, but what's going to be our generation's solution? Because this is not the, unfortunately, this is not going to be the last pandemics of our life. If we continue this way, which probably we are going to continue this way of living, we are going to face with other pandemics as well. So what are we going to do? How we are going to control these epidemics to not become worldwide pandemics? How we are going to protect our people in the cities? Actually, I think that we know the answer quite well, that we need to protect the wildlife habitats. We need to be very sensitive with restoring everything that we destroyed during the last 100 years. And we need to get rid of the cities, metropolitan cities with over millions of populations, because this is really risky and dangerous. And we need to localize our lifestyles. We need to have in each neighborhood, we need to have food production and other means of production in each neighborhood, that people can produce what they are eating, can have the control over what they want to eat and what they have to eat, what they have to wear, what they have to use. Otherwise, if we don't know where the food that we are eating is coming from, where the meat that we are eating is coming from, as it is now, this risk cannot be prevented. So we need to live more local. We need to reduce our mobility. We need to use the benefits of this today's technological improvements. So if we can meet with these virtual mediums, there is no need for meeting face to face. If it works, why not to do that? So we need to reduce mobility. We need to live more local. We need to live more ecocentric. We need to keep ourselves far from the niches of wildlife and protect them. We need to live more collective instead of individual. We need to be more collective. We need to help each other. We need to increase the solidarity between us. We need to increase the amount of co-working, co-living. We need to increase the shared economies that we can help each other, we can support each other, we can share knowledge with each other, we can share resources with each other, and all of these. So these are the solutions, but I don't know how much the power holders are open to choose these solutions and to follow these solutions.